Now, welcome to episode 5, part 5. Before we continue, I just want to make a quick note of something real quick. Check this out. Upon our research, we just discovered Route 11 in Suffolk County is also known as Pulaski Road. Pulaski is actually named after Cashmere Pulaski. Cashmere Pulaski was known as the father of the American Calvary. The only problem was the father of the American Calvary, wasn't a father at all. It was actually a female and a male. In other words, Pulaski was actually intergender. How was this known? Because the bones were actually exhumed of Mr. Pulaski or Miss Pulaski, and it actually stated when they actually did an autopsy on the bones itself, Pulaski actually had a female's pelvis. Now, a female's pelvis and a male's pelvis, everybody knows or should know at least, are different. It was a female skeletal system, but Pulaski also experienced baldness. Not only baldness, but a beard too, facial growth, which is common in females, baldness and facial growth. Don't get it twisted. So, the mother of the American Calvary was actually intergender, female Cashmere Pulaski. That is so fucking cool. Now, remember part 4 of this episode when I told you what does this all have to do with sexual assault? Camp Siegfried. It's sick enough, but keep listening, keep watching. Camp Siegfried would actually have German festivals, and over 40,000 people would attend to their actual Nazi freaking camp. At least 150 children would go to summer school there in the 1930s. Holy shit. And who's responsible for this? The American Bund, which tried to actually mix American democracy with European fascism. That's a quote. Now, Attorney General Schneiderman, we'll get to him in a second, was actually instrumental in the state taking over this German Nazi camp or Yaphank or the paperwork and everything in general. Only problem is, the League is still the same people who ran it in the 1930s, and he is still allowing this. In other words, he didn't change shit. He just changed the outlook and how you look at it and your perspective on it. This way, you get suckered into it. They're still running that shit, these Nazis. Now, once again, how exactly does sexual assault come into play when it actually comes to this Nazi camp? It's bad enough they did what they did. Now, check this out. They were so in good with the government and everybody else that the government actually wanted them to qualify and pay taxes and union dues and this and that. Those leaders had a strong belief that unions were filled with Jewish people. So what did they do? They demanded and ordered and forced everybody that went to the camp, I don't know if it's children included, definitely got to look up on that, wouldn't doubt it, to have sex with each other, to keep them pure, quote unquote. It's actually in this writing. Oh yeah, the Long Island Railroad, can you believe this? Trips to New York City and back, Penn Station. They were actually taking people for their Nazi festival. Oh my goodness. I have a complete different episode on the Long Island Railroad coming up, and trust me, it will blow the cover on a lot of shit for the grimy Long Island Railroad. And this actually goes all the way back to the early 1900s, believe it or not, with Hagerman and the Bicycle Company, and how he was actually trying to position a railroad north to South Long Island. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This is the I'm Fucking With You. Did you absolutely think that we were going to end this discussion without talking about this guy? Schneiderman, whatever his name is. The guy who's a champion of the Me Too movement. Well, check this out. Nothing against the Me Too movement. This guy is a fucking fraud. He actually got blamed for 2 sexual assaults, denied it, and then resigned immediately afterwards. You believe that fuckface? These 2 women actually went on record to actually indicate that their interactions with this man was assault. Now, Ira Mascarat, see that name? We're going to get to him in a later freaking part of this episode. Keep watching, please. We have a lot of episodes. Now, anyway, back to the point at hand, right? Now, Schneiderman's ex-wife apparently says, no, that's impossible. That's so uncharacteristic of him. While Schneiderman himself has actually been accused of actually taking a glass bottle or piece of glass and slashing his ex-girlfriend's face. Now this gets even better, or worse. Semantics, regardless of the case. Guess whose position he was set to take over until all this known facts actually came out? none other than Governor Andrew Cuomo. And I'm sure he gave his blessing on that too. Anyway, be sure to actually wait for part 6 of episode 5. Told you it was a long episode. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, doodle, giggle, whatever you guys do. By the way, FYI, anybody notice that the background of political list is actually our cat baby? Thank you for watching. We love you. Legal disclaimer, any advertisements that you have seen, any newsreels, any news articles, any Google facts, anything of this sort is strictly product of those companies, has nothing to do with political list. Political list just did the research and actually screenshotted, snapped, or whatever you want to call it. This has nothing to do with those companies. Those companies are strictly of those companies. Hence, Google, MSNBC, Fox, Newsreel, or any other article, Long Island Times, New York Times, Newsday, that you actually see in this entire episode, part 1, through whatever part we actually get up to, are not properties whatsoever of political this.